Hello chess friends and welcome to another video on ABC Chess Analysis channel. Here we have one very exciting game play between the world champion Magnus Carlsen and the fourth rated player in the world Anish Giri. I already covered game between them on the Tata Steel Masters 2019, but right now they are playing this game in Gashimov Memorial. So let's see, Carlsen was a white and he starts with the c4. We have e5, knight c3, knight f6, knight f3, and knight c6, just the basic moves in this opening. And then Carlsen played g3, d5, and c takes d5, knight takes d5, and bishop to g2. And here, main move for black goes with the knight to b6, but the Giri chooses to play with the bishop on c5. After that, we have a castle on both sides, and after that d3, h6, knight takes d5, queen takes d5, after that a3, threat to play b4 and develop bishop on the square b2, so a5 was played, and after that bishop goes d2, queen to e6, just move the queen from the not so comfortable diagonal for that queen, because bishop is very strong from the square g2. He threat to discover with some knight to attack queen on the d5 square, and here we have rook to c1, queen to e7, defending the bishop, and after that bishop to c3, increase the pressure on the pawn on e5. So we have knight to d4, and then e3 to kick out the knight from the center. After that, knight takes on f3, then queen takes f3, and here we have bishop to d6. After that, one very interesting idea. So white wants to start to attack, and he played queen to h5. Basically, this is the hidden idea what he wants right now, and he prepares surprise for his opponent. Let's see what happened. After c6, he recognized that it's a good moment to open some lines on the king side, and he surprised his opponent with f4. With that move, he crashed the pawn structure in front of his king. So let's see, Giri took the pawn on f4. After that, once again, Carlsen surprised his opponent because it looks very natural to take it with the e-pawn and keep these pawns connected, but he didn't play that line. He played g takes f4, and idea of that move is to open the g file and for future attack. So he's sacrificing pawn on the square e3 right now. This pawn is hanging, so queen takes on f3, it's check, king goes in the corner, and after that rook to d8 was played. So that idea is good, to move the rook from f8 square to open the way for bishop for some defense on the pawn on g7. So here we have rook from c1 goes to e1, attacks the queen, queen c5 for queen so trade. Of course, idea for black is to reduce material, because right now he's pawn up, and if he can trade material, that would be very good for him. So Carlsen goes with f5, and after that bishop goes to f8. Idea of that move is to defend the pawn on the g7 and stop some ideas of the sacrificing on g7 and opening the g file completely. So bishop e4 was played. After that, rook goes to d5. He sacrificed the rook with this move, but white is not interested for that, so he wants to increase the pressure on the g file. But right now he's not able to go with the rook on g1 and attack the pawn on g7, because pawn on the square f5 is hanging, so black can take it with the bishop. So first he played rook to f3, and after that he wanted to move another rook from e1 to g1 and then make more pressure on the g7 pawn. Also he threatened to take the pawn on h6 after that. So here we have b5, rook to g1, and then rook a7. So bishop to f6 was played. Idea of that move, bishop to f6, is to prevent moves like f6 for black, because he played rook a7 with idea to help in defending the pawns in front of his king. So he played rook a7 with the idea to push f pawn and defend pawn on g7 square. So bishop to f6 was played by Carlsen, and after that g6. And right now the queen is under attack, but that pawn is pinned, so he cannot take the queen. Queen goes to h3 after that, and rook d6 was played. Queen to h4, defend the bishop, and rook take on f6, sacrifice the rook. Queen takes f6, and after that trading, we can see that white is up for exchange. And the best for him is just to trade material and played the completely winning endgame. So bishop e7 attacks the queen, queen takes the pawn on c6, and offer queens for trade. If black accepts the trading, white is much better, so he did that. Queen takes and bishop takes on c6. So he's attacking the pawns on the b5 and on g6 because white wants to take the pawn. He's attacking twice on g6 pawn, and that pawn on g6 is defended just by the pawn from f7 square. So king to g7, and after that f takes g6, f takes g6, and then d4. After a4, he played d5, connect the bishop and the pawn. So b4 was played. Black wants to start some attack on the queen side. And here Carlsen recognized it's a good moment to continue attack on the g file, and he goes with the bishop on the square e8, and then he's attacking the pawn on the g6 square 2 times. So bishop to g5 was played to lock the diagonal, but instead of that he could also try to play g5, so what will definitely continue with h4 to increase the pressure on the pawn on g file. So after he played bishop to g5, so here we have h4, and then bishop takes the pawn, rook takes with the check, king moves on h7, and after that he played rook to c6, attack the bishop, and after bishop to g4, white goes with a rook to f4, attack two bishops here, and if he moves one, then the other one is hanging. So here Giri played rook to g7. In this moment he didn't not resign, he lost on time, but it's the same thing. So the game ends here, and Carlsen wins the game. He's completely winning in this position, so he can continue in many ways to finish that. He can push some of these pawns, and also he can play bishop to g6 to break the connection between the bishop and the rook on the g file. So as we can see here, black is forced to take it, and if the rook takes, king takes, then it's definitely winning position for white. But the game ends after the move rook goes to g7. After that game, and after 7 rounds, Carlsen is the leader on the board and on this tournament, and he scored 5 points of 7 games, and we'll see what will happen till the end of this tournament. I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you in the next game analysis. Bye bye.